Now that we have understood the projectile motion on the horizontal plane, we will try and take an inclined plane and analyze this motion. So this is the inclined plane that I am talking about, and now the projectile is fired like this. So this is the angle of projection. And now let us assume a few things. We will say that this angle, the big angle, is alpha, and this small angle over here, let's take it as beta. So these two things are considered. Now what I do is, I'll name them. So we'll name this as O, B, C. And now we will actually find the components. So first we'll apply the condition. The first thing that we did in the horizontal projectile was finding the time of flight. So here we need to find at what time starts and then how much time it takes to reach point B. So that is what we are trying to find. And for that, I'll have to choose one reference system. Now earlier, this was our reference system. We were choosing this as X and we were definitely choosing this as Y because it was horizontal. Now because it is on an inclined plane, I am going to change my reference system. What I am going to do is, I am going to take this particular part. So along the incline, I am going to take it as X, and perpendicular to it, I am going to take it as Y. If I do that, then definitely I get some input now, and if this is some initial velocity u, then along this plane we can choose this as, now if this is alpha and this is beta, the rest of the angle that this projectile makes with the incline is alpha minus beta. So this becomes u cos alpha minus beta, and this vertical velocity becomes u sine alpha minus beta. Now we are going to use this according to our requirements. Now if you clearly see, first I am going to apply the Sy. So Sy, as we know, we had written it as u by t plus half a by t square in the case of horizontal projectile. So now I am judging the motion in y only, and if you clearly remember, we had done something like this. So if this, when the range is covered, entire range, what exactly happens? The displacement in y becomes 0. So here the displacement in y is maximum, then it keeps decreasing and displacement in y becomes 0. That is what we want. So we'll say displacement in y is 0. If displacement in y becomes 0, and uy we have, uy is nothing but u sine of alpha minus beta into t plus half ay. Now here comes the catch. You can see that if I choose a random point over here this way, we know that g is always acting towards the ground. Because of the inclined plane, the g won't change its direction. But then if this is g, and this is what we are talking about, then we can write something along this plane inclined, and we can write something along this also. So now I am making use of the component. I am making use of the component system, and with the help of which I am going to write this angle. So if this is beta, if this angle is beta of the inclined plane, then I can make very well use of it, and I know that this is 90 minus beta, and this angle over here is going to be beta again. So for sure we can write this is g cos beta, and the component of g that is going towards here, so this is the perpendicular component, this component is going to be g sine beta. So we can write ax is minus g sine beta and ay is minus g cos beta. Now what we are concerned with is something that is perpendicular to the plane, because now the ground has gone, the horizontal projectile has been raised to an angle. So we just want the perpendicular component at this point, because we are dealing with y. That is why we want something along y axis. and that is nothing but minus g cos beta. So I'll substitute minus g cos beta over here. So now you can clearly see that we have got an equation and we need to find that time. So if you take t common over here, ultimately what remains is u sine alpha minus beta minus g cos beta by 2 into t is equal to 0. So which means that there are 2 points at which displacement in y becomes 0, as we spoke earlier. So displacement in y becomes 0 over here and displacement in y becomes 0 over here, because now our y is like this and x is like this. So the time of flight, this t we are going to achieve as 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. So this is the actual time of flight. So this much time it takes for the projectile to reach from O to B. So this I am going to replace now and I will write it as capital T, because we write time of flight in capital T. Now once we have achieved this, you can verify the expression. Earlier, if you remember, beta was 0. That means the projectile was horizontal and beta was 0. So put beta 0 over here, you will get cos 0 as 1. And if this beta becomes 0, you will get 2u sine alpha by g. So this is the expression that we had got earlier, if you remember, for the time of flight. Now once we achieve time of flight, we have to actually go for the range. That is, what is the value of OB it achieves. Now this time it's going to be slightly different, because we have an acceleration in horizontal direction. So if this is clear, I just rub this off. And I'll actually find a range. So just for our reference, the answer that we got is 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. This is what we got. So Sx is going to be uxt plus half axt square. So Sx is the range. Ux we know, Ux I wrote it actually as u cos alpha minus beta into t. So t is the time of flight, which I am going to write over here, 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta, and here we are going to have plus half into ax. Ax we know over here, which is minus g sine beta into t square, which is the square of this. Now after we simplify this particular expression, finally we will end up getting this kind of a expression over here. And to achieve the maximum range, as far as the range is concerned, you have to actually remember this final formula. Now maximum range is achieved when 2 alpha minus beta is equal to pi by 2. So that is the condition. Further, when we simplify this, we can also get pi by 2 plus beta. So alpha has to be pi by 4 plus beta by 2. So once you understand this method, you can definitely apply all these conditions, and at that point of time you can write this equation of motion and actually find a range. Even if you don't remember the formula, at that point you can definitely apply the equation and concept.